All right, Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Yahweh being the name of the Father, who people ignorantly call God. Yahweh Shai is his son, who people ignorantly call Jesus. Bahashem, Rakakwadash. That's in the name of the Holy Spirit, and that's where we get our revelation, our knowledge, our wisdom, and understanding. Peace and blessings to you, Akim, out there that's constantly fighting the good fight of faith, Lord will to the end. And double honors to the apostles, the elders, a great millstone that taught us his truth. And Lord will this lesson be edifying to the hopeful elect out there, as well as condemning to the wicked. I'm not sure what I'm going to title it, but through the Spirit, Lord will, it'll come out. I know I've seen a few things going on. Saw that today is the 18th of March, 2026. The year of apostates, sellouts, and agents, in the time of Jacob's trouble. And today is the 32nd day without pay, for those that's working. They got those government shutdowns and the airport closing down. You got the spring. I saw this spring bug boom. You got a lot of outbreaks of these different insects that's on an all-time high because of the weather being all off. We're getting hot now, and it was so rainy and a lot of snow. So, and then the heat came, which was all good productivity for these insects to, reproduce so quickly. So you got, pestilence, you got uproars of the people, you got just a bunch of mayhem that's going on here in Babylon the Great, which is all prophesied in the scriptures. And then, when we see these things, we see the people, being in uproar. That's a good thing, in our eyesight, how we see things. We see the uproars of the people. Hey, that's, the sedition of men. And, these are all scriptural things that come to mind. So I'm going to just bring out these few scriptures, and Lord will this lesson be edifying to the hopeful elect. This is Second Ezra. So I'm going to start with Second Ezra chapter 15. You can't go wrong. That whole chapter is hard if you haven't, Second Ezra, but I'm going to go Second Ezra 15 and 16. For there should be sedition among men and invading one another. Especially with this, we on the 32nd, about to go into the 33rd. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if some, crack off. That 33rd, that 33rd number is always something that goes on with that number. But anyway, it says what they say, if you know, you know. It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the courses of their actions shall stand in their power. So, these people are beginning to get hostile. I was looking at the news, and now they were speaking about how the airports is closing down. Possibility of them closing down, rather, because of the people are not getting paid. That's running the show. Even the security, the guards. So they're telling the people to be a lot more kinder to the guards. Say thank you. And you got to think these guys, they come and basically putting their life on the line, but they not getting paid. So hey, this wouldn't be something that that all it's going to take is just just going to be a match that's going to get this place going. It's just a matter of time. People thinking like, oh well, it's going to blow by like the last one. We don't know that. We don't know how long this thing is going to go. We don't know what's going to transpire. Because last time it was going, it wasn't what's going on now, like with this Iran and, Israel situation that's going on. You got Trump where he's, bucking up on the system, saying basically to hell with everybody. NATO, since they didn't want to join him, it made me think about, I was joking. It made me think about how he said basically it was like he did a Debo on everybody. Like he was just basically like, if you don't get involved, he said, if you don't get involved, basically, hey, to hell with all y'all, you know? And that was like, the Debo on the Friday on the first one. That's how he did. He was like, when he when Craig and Smokey was there and they was gonna go rob the neighbor Stanley, and he was like, I think he left his door open. He said he told Craig, you noticed if you seen the show, he said if you don't get involved, he said I'm gonna knock you, I'm gonna whoop your ass. And that's like how Trump did. He said if y'all don't want to get involved, all right, I don't need none of y'all. Basically, he said I don't need nobody. And that's that pride of Esau, man. And that's the pride of this place, Babylon. That's how it is right now. So, it's coming to the point where it's in dire straits, and it's gonna come down where what scripture say, he know that he have but a short time. So these days are getting short for this damn devil. It's speeding up for the elect's sake, but it's things is coming to a halt for this damn devil. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 7. It says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence. And I was just reading on something where, they got and it just keep happening though, about the food where they finding, and this is like these major companies, Trader Joe's, where they getting recalls of like so many thousands of pounds of food that's being recalled because they either got like E. coli in them or they finding glass in it. So hey, it's not going to be far fetched that these famines come, and it may not be just by the lack of food. It might be things of that such, where the food, however it happened, is going to happen. Where the food can be contaminated, which cause people to not be able to eat the food. Like you chancing it if you eat it and you get sick. So it says famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places, which you always got earthquakes, all over. That's just starting to pop up in areas that it was just unlikely to hear that earthquakes were happening. But hey, we in those times that these things have to transpire. And these are the things that we look forward to. These are the things that we keep on the forefront of our, on our membrane. We just looking for like these signs, you know. And anytime something jump up, we jumping on it. And we like, there it is. It's more of a telltale sign that Yahweh Shai is on his way. Excuse me, this is Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 2. It says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And that's what you going to constantly see, where people are going to be at odds. The rich against the poor, the poor against the poor. The rich going to be against the rich, the so-called rich, because everybody going to start feeling it. It's going to come to that point where it's just going to be like, it's going to be an all out, just chaos going on. People not getting paid. That's what really was making me see like these government shutdowns. People that are usually getting paid probably in the six figures, they getting paid nicely. Rather, they not getting paid like that. That savings is beginning to dwindle. They're not getting paid like they used to. So and then that's it's like a snowball effect. It affects others. You got these government shutdown, but what about the people that's supposed to be getting paid, and then through the government? So a lot of things is going to start taking place where it's going to affect others, and it's going to just begin a snowball effect, and it's just going to roll downhill from there. Let me get this one. This is what was that one? That was Isaiah. This is Zechariah chapter 14 in verse 13. Well, let me see. Yeah. This is Zechariah 14 and 13. And it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from Yahweh shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. So you're gonna have those that's gonna be at odds with one another, neighbors. People that you thought was cool is not gonna be cool in that day. When you have a choice, whether you eat or your neighbor eat, it's gonna be y'all gonna be at odds. People ain't gonna be kumbaya and coming together. They gonna be like, shit, to hell with that. Nah, my seeds need to eat. I need to eat. To hell with you, and they do whatever it takes to do so. People gonna become likened unto animals. It's gonna be the only the strong survive. So that's why we in a mind state now. Like, man, we being be circumspect out here. Knowing what's going on, knowing those that's around you. Not being too standoffish, but not too friendly at the same time. It's kind of trying to find that equal medium, with these folks, because we already know how people are going to become. People are going to become likened unto animals, man. It's going to be a no holds bar out here. People are going to be willing to do whatever it takes, because they're not going to have no faith. So you're not going to be able to say, just have faith and believe. That's going to be out the window. Having faith and believe, they lack faith. So they're going to really depend on the visual eye on what they see. That's going to be the difference between us and them. That's why we're not going to, we're going to be willing to walk away from everything, because we trusting in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We not trusting in, these things. The less you have, the more, the better you are. Not being so attached to things, because the more shit you got, the more things you want to hold on to. You're like, but what about this? What about that? You start thinking of all the things that you got, and that's something that be more of a weight to hold you down, to keep you there, than to just be able to just walk away from it. Like, man, to hell with all that shit. All right, but this is I'm gonna get this last one, and I'm gonna close it. Jeremiah chapter 30, because the days is getting shorter and shorter, meaning that we know that Yahweh Shah's return, Lord will, is going to be sooner than later. This is Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Who's he? The elect are going to be the ones that's going to be saved out of this horrific time that's coming upon, the world. But ultimately, here in Babylon the Great, aka America, is really going to hit so hard here. It's going to be like a time like you say, is like it's a time that's never been. Because here in Babylon, it's like the spoiled child. It's like the child that had always had everything and never had nothing taken away, and just always had everything it needed. So, very spoiled. So when things get taken away, they don't know how to act. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to perform. They don't know how to adjust. Their flesh has always been catered to. So when the time comes where everything is being taken away and they can't do nothing about it, that's where people are just going to lose it. People are going to do a swan dive, straight head first, and they rather that than go through what they think that is to go without certain things. People can't imagine going without their phone. People can't imagine going without all these different platforms that's out here. Majority just having a phone. Not having a phone is just going to have them lose it. Not having no TV, no social media apps, all these apps just being, in a room, you know, by yourself, or you know, uh, basically in your own comfort of your own home with your own self is not enough. You know, that's not going to be able to, you know, having, you know, like back in the day, we would have card games, you know, stuff like that, or just a book, not just, but having a book. That's far from being something that's good enough. Being in your in your own skin is not good enough no more. So we're gonna get to the point where, you know, these people, they've been built up like that over the years. From now, it's from, I wasn't just gonna say the youngest, but now it's the oldest to the youngest, who have got accustomed to, you know, technology, and you know how the system is set up. That's why it's gonna be so easy for this MOTB to be implemented here. You know, that mark of the beast to be pushed, and people be so willing to take it, and you know, run with it. Hey, but we coming up on them days where, hey, the time is at hand. I'm gonna read this again, and I'm gonna close it. Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. The Lord will. This is, you know, us in this truth, those uh, of like precious faith that believe and trust in Yahweh Shem Shai. Lord will, you know, we continue to hold fast and don't let Satan, you know, grab a hold of us. You know, don't let him distract us by, you know, your thoughts. You know, cast down in wicked imaginations. He'll try to constantly throw stuff in you, at you, and you know, just, hey, we just got to keep fighting a good fight of faith, man, every day. You know, sometimes all throughout the day. Some days, excuse me, may be seem rougher than others, but you know, eventually that lift up. You know, we just got to keep enduring. So, Lord will, this is again edifying to the hopeful elect out there. And with that, all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, who gives us the strength, you know, to continue to carry on. And double honors to the apostles, the elders, of great millstone, who taught us his truth. Until next time, Lord will. Shalom.